Hi folks, welcome back for another great video. What we have right in front of us is a typical barn find, $300, give or take a little bit, Honda, and this is a 200M. Obviously it's an all-terrain cycle. What makes this particular three-wheeler great is it's more or less complete, right? The headlights there, the loose, brake levers there. It does have a throttle, the engine's on it, and it has all three of its tires. But I'm calling this a very typical one because you start noticing things like tires aren't supposed to have square spots or pushed in areas. So we could see the back tires really don't hold air great. The plastic's complete, but looks like most of the plastic on these, and the wire harness has gone has become a mess. Let's go with it that way. Gas tank, you always got to wonder when you see screws sticking out of it what kind of condition it's in, but it doesn't really look that rusty, so it's probably something one can bring back. Nice dent right there. Hopefully somebody didn't use their manhood to do that. Seats on it. It's got your Christmas present wrapping paper type seat cover. Air box is there. Batteries there. You can see the starting relay. And what I'm doing is I'm specifically going through this in a little bit of detail. Because if you're about to buy one of these, this is what you want to do. Air cleaner's actually there. It actually has some foam around the element. So you're looking at it and you're going, wow, for $300, this is one heck of a deal, right? And then you go, I seem to have an issue. She's a seized. Now you got a decision. You got, do you buy it? Do you not buy it? What do you do with this thing? Just as it sits, your problem is going to be it's hard to pay too much less than a couple of $100 for it, because almost everybody in the world knows that this is worth almost $100, and the seat, even though it's got the Christmas packaging type wrap on it, is worth something. The front tire's worth something. The headlight's worth something. Then you go through each and every part of it. The back tires, though they're flat, they are on rims. Those are the wrong rims for the bike. The engine's there, so though it appears to be seized, you got to get something out of it. So it's, you might get something like this for $150. You might pay as much as $300 for it. Depends what your source of parts will be, right? Do you have a way of getting parts for it? Are you bringing it in as a first bike for parts? I mean, where are you going with this? I know a little bit more about this bike because I bought it a while ago and the recoil was off. So I know a little bit more about the engine. than you would just walking up to it like this. Most of the time you have to kind of make a snap decision. The owner probably won't mind too much if you take off the seat and look at the air cleaner, but if you start trying to take off the recoil starter and all, the owner is going to be like, what are you doing? I'm selling this as is, take it or leave it. So let's say you get a nice good deal on it and you manage to get it for 150 bucks. I call this about a $300 deal where I am. It's getting harder and harder to get these things for, you know, 50, 100, 150. That's getting really, really hard, especially if they're complete. I'm also making this video because this is the time of year from Thanksgiving until Christmas. It always seems to be a really, really good time to buy three-wheelers and four-wheelers, especially if they don't run. A lot of people are cleaning up, and you know, suddenly it's like, boy, I don't have a spot to put this thing. It's been sitting for a few years and the tires are starting to go square. Let me move this on before they crack, and you know, I'm really in trouble, so to speak. So great time to buy them. But as you're looking at this stuff, remember, you're in a ways. Other things that make me a little nervous, when you see stuff taped up like this, I always get a little nervous. It's tape, as in electrical tape, sticky. A lot of times when folks do that, they've done interesting things to the wiring. So you own this thing, you bring it home. What do you do? And once again, let's say you paid 150 bucks for it. First thing you're going to want to do is get this recoil off and see if it turns in either direction. If it turns in one direction and not the other, you gotta wonder, and completely in one direction, like through a couple of cycles, but it won't turn in the other direction. You want to start thinking about, do I have something wrong with the electric starter and so forth. If it turns part way around and kind of stops with a clang, and turn it the other way and it kind of stops with a clang, now you got to worry about, is the rod broken off? And as the crank comes around, it's hitting the end of the broken rod. Or do you have, did it jump time, and is, once again, you're turning it around, the piston's coming up and hitting one of the valves, and as you turn it the other way, it hits the valves. By the way, if that's the case, don't put a wrench on it and force it until you check the timing. So this is going to be the first of a few videos. So let's say you bought this thing, you got it for whatever you thought was a fair price. And do keep in mind that you could buy these things in pretty much mint condition for, you know, depends how you define mint condition. You could buy them in running condition for around $550, $600. You can buy them in really nice condition for around $1,000. So you got to be careful, right? If you're at 300, unless you have all the parts and all the knowledge, right, you don't have all that much room before you're up to full value. So just you know, if you're buying it to fix it, keep in mind how much you're tying up in it. So once again, this is the first of a video. What we're going to do next, I'm going to get the recoil off, and we're going to start seeing what's going on with this engine. Is it truly seized, or is it something with the electric starter or the transmission, or you know, what's wrong with this? Did it jump time and bang up a valve? We're going to see what's going on in there. And before you know it, you guys will all be experts, and you'll know exactly what to look for as you're buying these things, what your price point should be. And especially, once again, this time of year is a great time to buy these. So you want to have your eyes open. You want to be checking all the normal outlets, and you know, whether they're print outlets or internet outlets or auction sites, and to figure out. I'm not sure what year this is. I can't. Oh, this is the one where the thing was worn off. You guys know I bought this from a buddy of mine upstate. It was a barn find for him. I got it for a reasonable price. I got a spare engine with it and a bunch of spare parts. It was just good to see my old pal Kevin again. So it was worth the trip up there for that. But anyway, we'll go on, and we'll start taking it apart and see what else is going on. See you guys for part 2. Take care now, folks. Bye.